team scoring.
This is one of the matches to watch right now. We have Luminosity versus Complexity, the return of Spartan, his first major after his untimely forced leave from the scene. Complexity versus Luminosity.
Here we go, Complexity and Luminosity as we transfer over from the open bracket to pool play. I want to highlight Spartan. And on your screen, Spartan McFly. This is a guy making his first appearance. We didn't get to see him almost all of Season 3 due to that ban, but I want to shift more towards his why. Sparty is playing this weekend for his brother. On his jersey, he has #4Trav. When you play and when you compete and you just live life for a higher purpose, something that means more than the game itself, that's what Sparty's playing for this weekend. So I can't wait to see Sparty back in the HCS.
This is one of those matchups that I had earmarked in my notes, almost certainly to go to Game 5. These two teams could not be closer to one another. Their seeds are pretty different. Obviously, Luminosity 5 seed, but Complexity is the 12 seed, I want to say. However, do not sleep on Complexity. I mean, look at the talent, precision, and mental. These two players are ones that were talked about in Gears of War, two of the best Gears of War players of all time. You got Huss, who's, in my eyes, one of the best team cohesion players that's just going to open up the map for his teammates left and right. But they're going up against Luminosity, it's a tough roster, who is definitely on the up and up.
And to your point, Eli, if you just look at cumulative ring and trophy totals, it's not Optic, it's not Rebellion, it's not Phaser SSG claiming that ground. It's Complexity due to the success that guys like Precision and Mental have had in Gears of War. And oh, by the way, Ash is their coach, the winningest coach in console esports history. He's got 23 LAN championships under his belt. So this is a Complexity roster that we expect a lot from. In the early goings, though, it's 20-72 with Luminosity controlling A and B.
Yeah, so far Piggy somehow gets all the way over here with the camo. I like the way they're playing this. They're not trying to force the issue. Piggy sees an opening to maybe get a flank here. Let's see if this pans out or comes back to bite him. Looks like he might have got a spawn for Mortally. They're able to flip C. So typically the strategy here in Strongholds, AB is a decent hold, but BC is significantly better. So if you are the team that has AB, you typically are okay giving up A and taking C. That's exactly what we've seen Luminosity do here. They transitioned it perfectly, and now they've got a great setup.
Yeah, Luminosity with the preferred setup of B and C. They're trapping Complexity with those A back against the wall spawns. As we hop on board here with Piggy, 4 shots left in the sniper to work with. Free fire set up towards the sandbag side as Mental's going to take him here. Shot to the shoulder, take him down to 1 HP, but Piggy is 2. Wants to waste the ammo so nobody for Complexity can get a hold of it.
Very curious to see how Avucy chooses to play this last player live on his team. If he can get a pick, this is massive. This is a player that I have highlighted quite a bit. He does get a trade before being taken down, which is massive. It means that the rest of Luminosity can move a little bit faster off their spawn point. They are now the team spawning in A, and they might make a rotation towards C here and try to go for a C push and then follow that up with a B push to get control again.
80-second lead here for Luminosity, but not before Complexity are finally able to gain back control of the map with that preferred setup of B and C. As Spartan makes his way through the middle of the map, Repulsor 360 to traverse a little bit faster through that middle portion of the map. Yakzn, the last player alive, and he will go down. Complexity now can play for a trip cap or suffocate the spawns of A.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to leave the A spawns open intentionally, probably trying to read the next play. Camo coming up in 15 seconds is going to move both teams a bit on that half of the map. Piggy trying to open some space. Looks like bottom center. Got a sticky comes out. Doesn't stick, but does enough damage for Spartan to get the assist, but they take 3 down. They get 4 down in the process. It should be a free camo grab and a rotation to C. They're going to allow Complexity to spawn at B and then collapse again.
Huge win at the bottom of the map for Piggy. That allows Yakzn to grab the camo, and now it's Luminosity with control back in their favor, but Complexity are working on an A grab. Precision does not spot the camo in the middle of the map. Throws a chase grenade out, but it's not enough to take down Yakzn. Yakzn. Yakzn instead is eyeing a double kill, and look how quickly he got off of the focus on that second player, knowing that his teammate would clean it up. He's going towards his next process of capturing B and looking back towards the A spawns. That's a phenomenal process being played here from Yakzn.
Yeah, Luminosity played that retake extremely well. They got back into their comfortable BC setup. Now it's just a matter of predicting what Complexity go for next. Avucy finds 2 in the kill feed. That's going to be massive for their chances to continue this hold. They just got to shut down the next 2, and this could even be good that they might be able to stagger these deaths they have. And that means Complexity have to work even harder on this next push.
Avucy down to 1 HP. Gotta watch that spike grenade coming out. It does gather some damage. He's down to 1 HP, and 1 body shot is enough for precision to take him down. Numbers advantage now for Complexity as they work their way towards B. Piggy will take his position on the nest bridge. Grenades going out towards Mental, but Mental gets into a spot where he doesn't take any of that frag damage. Uh-oh, but Mortally has a full sniper at the top of the tower. Watch out. Oh, headshot.
There he goes.
Double kill. Make it a triple? No, but that's why. You got to keep your eyes on Mortally. He's nasty with the snipe and showing you why.
He's nasty in general. To be honest, if we got to keep talking about LG earlier, I wanted to highlight this player. This was a player that we did not mention at all in our breakdown earlier, but I think if he is having a good game, this team will succeed and maybe even upset some of your top team favorites.
Oh!
This guy is insanely talented, and he is showing why. Finally gets taken down, but man, the damage has been done. That's the 4th player down for Complexity. They've got the tower control, and Complexity are reeling. They have to find a way out.
Mortally with 8 shots in the snipe, and he damn near used every single one of them to gain back control of the map. BC in their favor once again. Complexity far too often, Eli, has been stuck in the back of A.
Have been, and they're trying to force their way out through big door, probably sending another player through bottom mid, but I feel like these constant big door pushes are not the play. They do finally take a couple down.
Through mid.
But will it matter?
Well, you're right, Eli. You said the big door push is predictable now for Luminosity, so Mental says, yeah, well, let's scratch that off the play sheet and let's go through top mid. So he works his way through sandbags, gets a double kill, and now adds another kill to the stat sheet. You gotta watch out for the camo. Luminosity have closer proximity to it, and I think Mental's gonna get pushed off of it with the aggressiveness. Avucy takes him down and takes the camo to his name, a double kill to boot. Gotta watch the damage behind him, but he's not worried about that. He wants B.
Shout out to their coach, Mr. Thug Nasty himself. They've gotten several of these camos. I want to say all of them so far, so that's got to be off the backs of the coach, making sure they are aware of it. Avucy now with the QT. I expect him to do something creative here. Camo QT combination, pretty rare, but he's going to make the most out of it. Look at the use of the portal, but someone was watching his portal. He gets a lot of damage down. Mental somehow stays alive here, and it's a well-executed play by Complexity.
Watch out! Complexity have A, B, and C, and they're only down by 30 seconds. Now Mental starts to heat up a little bit. Nice little flick shot onto Yakzn for the heady. And it looks like Complexity are in the spot they want to be in. 3 go down for Luminosity, and now they're going to have the back A wall trap spawns. Complexity might just steal the lead.
It looks like they're actually going to force a split spawn, so unfortunately, Yakzn spawned all by his lonesome. He's going to get collapsed on. Other members of Luminosity are arriving, though, to clean up the pieces. They don't know about Mental rotating, though. Might get an assassination. He does. Might turn it into 2. Unfortunately, Luminosity asleep at the wheel there. They do take him down, but Complexity has taken the lead.
Mental just went on a tear, sitting at 20 and 13. He's got the most kills in the lobby and the least deaths, allowing his team to potentially come back in this one. They're up by 20, almost 30 seconds. It was just moments ago they were staring at an 80-second deficit. Can Complexity complete the comeback in game 1?
This is Avucy's time to shine, but no, it's perfectly executed by Complexity. They make themselves such difficult targets. We couldn't land it. Piggy's trying to push through, but can't finish the kill. And that might just seal the deal. I want to say it's going to be too hard to come back here for Luminosity.
Eli, how well have Complexity been playing with their numbers? How often have we seen them go down to 1 shot and then somebody comes in for the bait and switch? They are playing as a hive swarm. More often than not, you see at least 3 players on your screen lit up in red. and another one goes down. Spartan with a body shot takes down Avucy, looking to clean up onto Yakzn, Piggy, and now it's the 3 filtering through to C for Luminosity, and they're able to take down Spartan because of that numbers advantage. 3-4 go down for Complexity, and Luminosity have just 3 seconds to spare, or game 1 goes to Complexity.
They do get another camo, though. Avucy has been so good. I want to say he's gotten the last 3 camos in a row, but this one has to be as valuable as they get. They've got their familiar setup. They need to just hold the line for 1 more minute, basically. And they've done a good job. These kills are staggered for Complexity. And that's a huge pickup by Avucy. Could have traded that out, but because he's alive, he's still on the map for the rest of the push.
Luminosity now brewing a comeback of their own, and Avucy is going on a spree of his own. Can he win that out TMR against Huss? That would have been tough, but he did enough damage, I believe, for Yakzn to clean up. No! The bait switch once again comes through for Complexity, and that could just be the dagger in game 1.
He did split this, though, and there's a player contesting B here. Unfortunately, Piggy goes down. He gets the melee, though. Can they take him down? That's going to be it. Complexity take game 1.
Wow! Mental absolutely popped the F off in that game. He got 24 slays. He was sitting at 8 when Complexity was down by 80. 3 times that, and got Complexity back on top for a 20-second victory in game 1. What a comeback!
So we talked about Spartan being the one that's angry, but is Mental one of the ones that say that he used to be in Shopify Rebellion last year? He was placing top 3, and now he's here with Complexity in the 12th seed. I think he's hungry for something.
I think he is. I think Mental is ascending right now, and that's exactly what this team needs. He hasn't been himself online, it feels like, throughout the offseason, but like you said, a fall from grace, quote-unquote, falling from the 3rd seed to now having to work his way back up. It's like he's back in year 1 where he's fighting his way, up the ranks. But, I mean, this first game really exemplifies the way I expected this series to go. I think these 2 teams, despite having pretty different seeds, are very close when it comes to each other.
Well, that was a really important win for Complexity here to start turning the tides towards themselves, starting here right on LAN. Luminosity. Their next game type is Slayer Aquarius. How do you see this one turning out?
I mean, you might as well flip a coin. It's so hard. It's going to really come down to the team that's in flow better, that's going to hold multiple parts of the map, the team that's not going to be afraid to push into spawns, that's going to make the most out of their spawns. So what's weird about this game mode is sometimes you can get in a frustrating spawn cycle where you're spawning in the fridge, you're spawning away from your team. You've got to know how to re-link up with your teammates and form like a cohesive formation on the map. And I think that the team that does that better will win.
And isn't that what Complexity did? He liked to win game 1. They would send a flanker out. The 4th would be this roaming turret on the map, and then they 3-push multiple members. And so in every instance, even if Luminosity had a buddy to make it 2, there would be 3 for Complexity. They were always in a numbers advantage situation. That's how they were able to come back in game 1, and I think that bodes well for them in game 2.
Second game here in the Complexity versus Luminosity series.
All right, here we go. Jumping back into this series. Pool play. Complexity and Luminosity. Luminosity up by almost 100 seconds in that Strongholds live fire game 1, but Complexity with a ferocious, frenetic comeback. Take a 1-0 lead in this series and are up 1 this game to Slayer.
This is going to be an insane game, I already know it, for sure. Mental starts off with the camo, which was a pain point they had in game number 1. Despite winning it, they really didn't have great control of the power-ups. And now, just like that, control the top of the map. Luminosity in the blender early. Could this be an overkill? He's not going to get it. Precision's going to trade that out. But that doesn't bode well for Luminosity. See how quickly Mental and Co can find these spawns.
Mental might as well have had the 50 cal Warthog turret attached over his right shoulder. That's what it looked like he was doing, top mid, dealing out enough damage to earn a triple, and then a 4th for a full team wipe. But now Complexity are up 5 after 1 minute.
Okay, 360 killing spree. That's a great start for Complexity, up by 5, but they've had the map advantage. They've had way better positioning on the map. I think if Luminosity are able to find themselves in similar positions, they can bring this one back. It's just a matter of getting it.
This feels like a match for top 5-6.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it in the first hour of pool play on Friday of the kickoff to Season 4 as Complexity looking really good, looking even much improved from where they were at online. We expected that type of a LAN buff for a team that's had plenty of success on LAN in various different games as Mental earns another one, or at least least through the fists. 6 slays here. He led in slays in game 1, and he's looking like he might do the same. If not for Precision, somehow someone's even frying harder than what we've seen from Mental. Precision's already 7, now 8, 2 and 2. Complexity are really showing their muscles here in this first round.
Precision did not have a good game 1, and if I know Ethan Precision, he is not happy with himself after that game 1, and probably going to pop off. He has 9 kills, only 2 deaths, 3 assists to add to it. He's popping off, and I'm starting to see what we talked about, the experience difference, right? What's the difference when you're the new guy on the block? You're typically a little bit more nervous, a little bit more timid, and not willing to push your edges. And that's what I'm seeing from Luminosity. I feel like they're playing a little bit too scared, a little bit too, they're just too static. They need to be more dynamic on the map. They need to be more aggressive. I need to start to see them playing with confidence.
Keep in mind, it was Luminosity earning seemingly all of the camo in game 1. It's been 2 for 2 for Complexity here off the start, and they're up double digits, now down to 9, but that's a comfortable enough lead, Eli, going into the 30s, where you can start to play for trades and melees and still find yourself with a 2-0 advantage in this series. Complexity are looking fantastic.
A lot of people were writing off Complexity, and maybe I wasn't giving them as much props as they deserve. They're looking quite good right now on LAN. I think online, just not quite the same roster, but Sparty's been waiting a long time for this moment, a whole year basically, before he could come back to LAN, and I think he's going to put on a show for us. But so far, this is the Precision show. 12 kills, are you kidding me? He's got almost half of Complexity's kills.
And it's not like he's doing light work with the damage being dealt. 5 assists. That would be tops on the side of Luminosity. So hey, you really cannot go far enough into how dominant this game is. It's a 3-team wipe advantage now. Up 12 are Complexity, 32-20. Does Luminosity even have enough time or space to come back with so many slays already going in favor of Complexity, Eli?
It is possible. It is possible. Precision misses the timing on the remote detonation there. That's actually a huge pickup from Yakzn. They find 2. And like I said, I think that if Luminosity find their footing, they get top center control, they start to cycle spawns, we actually could see a comeback here. Avucy's getting a couple. We've got a camo in the suit of Mortally, but those 2 kills from Complexity might slow them down at least a little bit here.
Luminosity with their first camp of the game, and they've got to find value out of it, but what do you know? Mental finds another slay instead. Sparty gets a slay as well, trades out, which is going to be a great advantage for Complexity. Still up by 12 as Huss pushes into the generator, takes a 1v2, which could actually turn into a 1v3 with Piggy sliding through. As we hop on board here with the man himself, still a double-digit lead for Complexity heading into the 40s. This is where Eli, at this moment in the match, Luminosity has to find a +3 or 4 outcome, or it's over.
Avucy starting to pick things up, 13-8 now. We talked about this player to watch out for on Luminosity, definitely one of the up-and-coming stars. He finally gets taken down, and now it gets to the point that I feel like it might be too difficult for the comeback they needed to maintain that control of the center of the map if they were going to get back into this. But right now, Avucy, the only positive member of Luminosity, this is not boding well right now.
Yeah, this is tough for Luminosity. Aliak asked us what's the key in game 2 for this LG squad, and we said Avucy and Mortally. Mortally not having as good of a game, but Avucy's looking like one of the main slayers in this lobby. But my God, look on the other side, your top left of your screen. 31 out of 44 slays are all at the hands of Mental and Precision, who ironically enough are on the respawn screen for now. But that's not going to last long. They're going to get right back to the action, needing just 5 more slays to take a 2-0 edge this series.
Throughout this game, Luminosity just didn't give themselves enough space to work with. They were constantly in small areas of the map. Complexity are flowing very comfortably around the map, working together. See a double kill here from Mortally. So all of a sudden, though, okay, 3 dead and no members of Luminosity lost. They're still down by 8, and they only have 5 deaths to work with. So this is difficult, but still possible.
Can Luminosity trap and prevent Complexity from filtering out of that blue base spawn? You still see 1 member left in it. The other 2, it looks like, have taken the generator. So Yakzn's actually passed by them. He spotted his foe getting into a 1v1. Oh my God, another camo! A moot point for Luminosity. It's 2 camos and 0 kills with it. That might be their own doing.
Yeah, you gotta get more value out of the camos. It feels like Complexity are also reading what Luminosity want to go for in these engagements. They're setting little traps here and there, know that they're gonna be getting desperate to bring the scoreline back into a little bit closer of a scoreline. Avucy finds one and gets away with his life, but starting to feel like too little too late.
Man, this is Avucy is this is gonna be one that could get into his head. Like, man, what else do I need to do? 17, 8, and 10. That's one of the best stat lines you'll see in a Slayer. And you look down at the scoreboard, and they're not even in a position to come back in this game. That is absolutely tough. Luminosity gotta get a little bit more out of the members from Morley, Piggy, and Yakzn if they want to have a chance in this series. It's been all Avucy in game 2, but you cannot win in Halo competition 1v4. Complexity take another one and take that 2-0 lead in this series. They got a death grip, it feels like, on it, Eli.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Piggy, I think, needed to be a bit more of a factor. Piggy having a rough game there, and that's not what we're used to seeing from Piggy.
Compete on land once again, and how exciting is it to be able to watch the third game for the Complexity versus Luminosity series here at McCaskey?
Well, I said earlier to Eli, this feels like a match for top 5-6, and it very well could be. These are two teams that could absolutely find themselves going head-to-head again in the pool play, in the championship bracket. Oh, but we're starting off game 3 here. Looks like Eli just dipped out, so rather than going solo, we got Tools joining us on the couch. Garrett, how we doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing great, and honestly, a little bit shocked at what we were seeing here today. Luminosity not living up to the expectations that they had set upon themselves.
Yeah, we always do. Complexity had a little bit more to their game, and they're showing it here on land with a really strong performance so far. It's only round 1. It's only the first hour or so of a full weekend of Halo, so can't get too ahead of ourselves, but we are liking what we're seeing from Complexity as we hop on board here with Piggy. 1v1 with Mental. Does enough to take him down to 1 HP, but Piggy's pretty weak himself, so he'll relocate, reshield, reposition, and now get some commando shots out towards the bat ledge, preventing Complexity from taking that space.
Well, look out Luminosity, though. Yakzn was able to break in through the high side of the map while that distraction was going on. This is really just a battle for pipe control right now, and it's one that he just wins. Spartan almost took him down, but this might establish exactly what Luminosity needed.
You're lucky when you show windmill and still find the slay in the feed, so a big one there.
See the impact, though, because he took so much damage in Spartan, we see that Mental is able to get those kills, and not only does he get that ball back, he gets the double kill at the same time. Luminosity going to be in a struggling position with these players stuck in the tower.
Mental is killing it for Complexity. He's been their MVP so far, and if the slaying performance isn't enough, how about all 13 seconds of oddball time here in a crucial do-or-die game 3 for Luminosity. Could be a closeout game here for Complexity as the camo is up. Looks like Piggy's going to sneak it. What can he do with it? This is something they had an advantage with in game 1, but it still wasn't enough. Can they find their form here in game 3?
That insta-explode is going to be enough to help Piggy get that kill. Now, what I want to see from Luminosity is this expansion. You need to have all of the mystery taken out of the map, understand where all these players are, and use that to rotate the ball, but Complexity just keeps getting the kills. It's been destroying Luminosity so far. Piggy's trying to salvage a tough situation, but the double kill certainly helps. 3 down, Complexity.
Well, there's one way to find some value out of the camo, going for the full team wipe. Huss, he'll go down, there's no question, as he falls at the stacks, and now Complexity staring at Luminosity with control of the oddball. It's Morley with his hands on it. 13-10 here, but it's a rolling 10. It's going to drop for now as Luminosity drop all 4 members just as it looked like they were about to regain the lead. Complexity gained control of the map, the shock rifle, and the oddball once again.
And that's been the story of this series, right? Every time we think Luminosity is going to get something going on, Complexity's had the answer, and Mental been a huge part of that in this series so far. 8 kills for his team, and they've been impactful kills to help rotate that ball away, and he is still just causing chaos on that front line as he just got number 9, preventing them from moving through that tower easily.
Huss goes down, drops the shock rifle. Did that oddball fall off the map? Yes, it did roll back to the reset. So Avucy, with that grapple, could have maybe even made a play to grab for it, but I don't think he had the time or the angle to do so. That'll reset. 35-10 here as Complexity still in control of this match and this series.
Monster Yakzn, though, he's been a big impact for Luminosity so far. In fact, I'd say it's been really the only shining light so far in this game. We need to see a little bit more out of those Slayers of Avucy and Morley. They were the two that were dominating the stat sheet throughout the open series. This is the time for them to show up.
I think that camo burn, Avucy wouldn't have picked it up by default because he had the grapple. I don't see any blue glimmer on the screen, so Avucy going to use that last grapple to try to regain the map control, the high ground to the bat ledge. But he takes a grenade to the face, and he'll go down because of it.
That Piggy gets right into that front line. They're able to win type control, but with that ball out in the middle, it's just a bit harder than they're anticipating to get to that ball. I like this idea of the rotation, but Spartan's there to cut it off. If they can find this kill on Spartan and reestablish this control, they're going to be able to keep this in a great spot, but Spartan has just been bamboozled the players around him. He's still alive getting kills. Mortally wondering where the hell he is, and it's still Spartan that's just getting kill after kill. He's still alive in the tower.
And Garrett, look at the clock. 1:13. We're approaching 60 seconds, and with about a 60-second advantage here for Complexity, now is where Luminosity are going to feel that unwritten stress and press to push for the oddball in moments and instances where they maybe don't have the numbers to do so. That's the advantage Complexity has right now.
But they have a great setup on the map right now. It's just going to come down to individual execution in these final moments. They are definitely within reach. Complexity had an opportunity to run up this board. They played time early on. All Luminosity needs is one stronghold, one good rotation, and they're right back into this. Piggy, Mortally, what are you having?
Down by 20 seconds with 55 left in regulation. Is meant to look to stay alive here. He trades out with Piggy. The tower still being fought for. Complexity going to reset that oddball off the map, continue to dwindle down that regulation clock. But now Avucy's the last player alive in the lobby. Everybody's down on the respawn screen. That's going to allow Avucy a free chance to grab the oddball and set it back up at A. Luminosity, the comeback is coming.
Nothing feels better when you pick up that ball, you rotate, and you see your teammate spawn. That means you have that in the perfect spot, but Complexity can ruin it here. And now Precision Camouflage, be on the lookout.
Within 10 seconds, with 30 seconds left in regulation, this one's going to come down to the wire as Precision earns the melee, tries to grab the oddball, but he goes down. 3 go down for Luminosity. Now all 4, and Complexity here. What do? Do they grab more oddball time, or do they play a little bit of keep away?
Oh, Mental gonna hit that rotation. You saw the spawns from Luminosity. They're all the way at the pipes. It's basically a trip to Mordor to stop it, and they just don't have time. 10 seconds and counting. It's a foot race to the ball, and they have to be careful about the reset. Spartan can just throw it off the map. He does. There's no time.
And that will do it. Round 1 in the books. Complexity have had Luminosity's number all throughout this series, coming out with guns a-blazing here in the first match of pool play.
See a little update on what's happening over on the open bracket. Kraken up 1-0 against No Limit. We'll keep an eye on that, but let's go back to our main performance here today, and that's all Complexity has been. Main slaying, man. It feels as if nothing can stop this team, and Mental, hey, giving up the shock rifle to his camouflage player, it's a pretty selfless play.
So you want to have it. Power combination, the power up, the power weapon is Huss. Has the grapple as well, Garrett. So he's got 3 pieces of the kit, but he loses all of them. He's going to give back the shock rifle. No Piggy goes down and it gets back into the hands of Complexity. It's been a hot potato shock rifle to start round 2, and a hot round at that for Complexity. You blink, and they've already got 19 seconds.
That Precision's been able to at least get into those front lines and cause some chaos, but Luminosity, this is your final moment. You don't really have many opportunities left to create this comeback, to get yourself back on this footing. This is almost disastrous the way they've come out today.
And Garrett, it's early, but looking down the line, this could be one of those pool play matches that determine the 2 seed and the 3 seed. By the way, 2 seed starts in winners, 3 seed starts in lowers. So it's early and it's just pool play, but this match has all of the consequences of a championship bracket match.
That's a great point, Hunter. I mean, honestly, that was one of the first things I thought about. It's like, this is such an important match because these 2 teams are extremely close together, and they've got, looks like 4 dead on the side of Complexity, by the way, so this could be their chance to finally get back into this. Piggy and Yakzn having a way better game now than they did in the Aquarius, so when they start to step up, this team starts to succeed.
Mortally in the tower, gonna get pushed by 2. They're gonna high-low him, but Mortally still finds 1. Makes it a 1-1 net outcome trade. Avucy has the oddball. He'll drop that off into the drink. Content with a 22-all tie here. And where do Luminosity spawn? Piggy has positioning in the needles, so you might actually go all 3 down and have the best chance to grab this next oddball. And I think that's the case for Luminosity. Great setup off the reset.
Yeah, this is looking fantastic for Complexity to get control. I like the Luminosity to put the ball back into the open. Now, Spartan just trying to find the next set of spawners. Instead of focusing on the fight that's already happening in gold that he has no impact on, looking for another target that he can attack. Morley, unfortunately, going to be the victim, but he's playing it very well. Morley holding his ground strong. Marty now left to tug his tail between his legs, trying to get out of dodge. But Luminosity seemed to have him spotted. The problem is, Sparty's playing his life phenomenally, just making himself such a difficult kill.
Oh, how much attention is Sparty gathered in the comms for Luminosity? I imagine everybody. He's got the camo. He's one shot next to the camo box. They finally take him down. And we're still tied here, 22-all. That ball has been at the reset point for what feels like an eternity.
Yeah, neither team really getting back into a comfortable position to go for it. It's in such a very exposed part of the map that almost all the spawn points have a clear line of sight towards it. So there hasn't been a clean 3 or 4 dead for a while. Finally, they do get 3 dead, but no.
Oh!
Avucy somehow turns 2 there. He's still alive.
No. I was
melee
about to
too.
say. Wow. Avucy should have never gotten 1, should have never gotten 2, and definitely should have gotten 3, but he still takes us down to 1 HP, and that means he might just be cleaned up. So Avucy, from the respawn screen, still making his difference in the match. And now, as we approach 2 minutes left on the clock, this is going to be another one that comes down to time, I think, Eli.
Yeah, it feels like it's almost guaranteed. By the way, Avucy finding a remote detonation in the kill feed. Good kill from Huss. Piggy's going to clean that up, though. 2 versus 2 trade here. Avucy across the map. Going to try to quickly rotate through the outskirts. Don't want to spend too much time shooting across. Need to make some space for his teammates who are spawning up. Sees his teammates spawn an elevator, immediately looks across the map. I like the process that I'm seeing here from Avucy.
High ground control for Avucy. He expects the push from Complexity, but it's too strong yet. Actually, Sparty on the other side, Mental inside the tower. But enough damage goes into Mental's suit to where he's able to get cleaned up by Luminosity. Now Sparty with another camo for Complexity, and he's putting it to use.
Incoming.
Okay, last time we saw how much attention and panic that he caused in the Luminosity camp the last time. If he can do the same here, could be the opening for Complexity to pick up the ball. They've been stuck at 22 for quite some time. Clean double beatdown without a trade, which is massive. And let's see if he can continue to do work here.
Sparty regrouping with his teammate, pushing along the C platform into the long haul. Piggy and Morley are there, ready for a fight. You're going to see a lot of players go down here. Oh, Huss wins a huge one at the sneaky, makes it a 2-2 split, but he goes down shortly after, so the numbers advantage, a +1 net outcome. It's a razor-thin margin that Luminosity take advantage of, and now with less than 60 seconds left in regulation, Luminosity have the lead.
They absolutely need this round. Yakzn is going huge so far, by the way. 25 kills this round, or this game so far. Mortally finding one as well. The rest of the Complexity pushing through. Avucy's trade is massive. That means he can hold the ball comfortably for even longer. Yakzn doesn't have to drop it yet. Mental wins the battle he had no business winning. Yakzn resets the ball and trades out with Sparty, though, so that's a massive pickup in the wake of Mental's kill. But now, ball has reset. 35 seconds on the clock. This is going to be do or die for Complexity in this round.
Outside of the opening goings of game number 1, this is the best we've seen Luminosity look in this series, and now with less than 30 seconds left in regulation and a 30-second lead in round 2, might just be destined for round 3, but not if Sparty has other thoughts. He gets around the corner, strong side, a little mini one, little shoulder jut down to the right, keeps him alive. Oh, and Precision, a bodyguard. It's an aggressive one at that, pushes out into A, takes down 1, takes another one down to 1 HP as Morley drops to the low ground, but Complexity continue to score more ball time. They're only down by 10.
Okay, Yakzn has the camo. He's got to stay alive here and make a play. Complexity know he's lurking, though, so they're going to intentionally watch these different doorways. They know he's very likely to show up here, and this looks like a horror movie. Huss has no idea where he's at. Finds the assassination, but Complexity taking the lead.
Yakzn with such a heads-up play there to not grab the shock rifle. Otherwise, the indicator of his camo would have been a moot point, and he would have been shown to Huss, who was looking for him with that plasma pistol. Yakzn, with 2 times in this series, Eli, we have lamented his incredibly heady heads-up play. Now he's taking heads himself with the shock rifle. Takes down one, looking across the map for the second, but he'll go down. Not before a 3-second game with 3 seconds left. 53-56. Complexity don't have a chance to make the comeback true as we'll go to that round 3.
Hunter, what did you call it when in this very building we saw a Game 3 back against the wall, oddball win? What did you call it? The oddball trampoline.
The reverse sweep trampoline.
The reverse sweep trampoline. Could Luminosity find themselves with a little bit more life? They won a single round. Maybe that's all they needed to bounce back in this series. We've seen it time and time again. It was Woodham in his path to top 6.
Yeah.
When they did that, they were down 0-2, lost the first round of oddball, and then won the next one, and then never looked back. Reverse sweeping. Could Luminosity do the same here?
Yeah, I say a lot of dumb shit, especially off the cusp. But that might have been my one coin phrase that actually made a lot of sense. The reverse sweep trampoline. And what that means if you're watching from home is in a series layout, when you've got a Game 3 oddball and you're down 0-2 in the series, clearly something's not working out for you. But because oddball is such a long match, usually 20+ minutes, it gives you the time you need to figure it out. And it looks like Luminosity are doing just that.
They've got a strong setup here. Mortally holding the tower. He's going to be able to watch the rotation from C, but also get some eyes across the map on crossing players. Sparty gets caught out, trying to be sneaky on the camo box. Now Mortally pushing in, almost gets the kill, but that's a great straight from Precision, a great kill as well.
Luminosity down, but not out. Now up in this crucial round number 3 as Mental pew 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 with the plasma pistol helps take down one with the assist, cleans up on Avucy with the headshot, and now Complexity are set up at the back of A, but it's not without pressure. The remaining 2 members of Luminosity are making their name count as Mortally pushes through. He takes down Precision as well. What a push from Luminosity. Just looked like when it looked like their numbers were dwindling, they actually regain control of the oddball and that side of A where you love to have the oddball, probably the second preferred position, because unlike back C where you can drop it up into the drink, you can reset this oddball out to bottom mid or rotate it to gold or blue.
Look at this decision. Yakzn rotated it from A all the way into gold. Like you said, they saw the pressure coming in from tower and very intelligently rotated away to the opposite side. Piggy also has the anchor point already top gold. Clears the way for Yakzn to rotate there. They're playing this round so far beautifully.
3 go down though for Luminosity. 2 down for Complexity. So that ball is still going to be contested for here at the bottom of the stairs. Yakzn goes down, so Complexity have had the numbers advantage in the last 10 to 15 seconds or so. And they're turning it into 10 to 15 seconds of oddball time. They're still down by 30 seconds. A huge win for Precision. He gets it back after losing a contested 1v1 to Mortally previously at A. And then Mortally, the Grim Reaper, gets his second kill onto Precision. Precision not able to find revenge onto him. And now Mortally just looking to stay alive at the sneaky. Mental goes down to 1 HP. And it's enough to earn 2 assists. Mortally, how many times have we said that for Luminosity in this oddball? They're going down, Eli, but they're doing enough damage on the way out to have that cleaned up by their teammates.
Yakzn looks like he is in flow state, Hunter. This man has 37 kills, by the way. And he's got 15 assists to go with it. And every time we're on his POV, it feels like he's positioning himself right place, right time to have a strong impact on the play. Does finally get taken down, but this should be an easy reset from Luminosity. How? What? Did Piggy get that kill? That was undeserved.
Does go down shortly after. Precision with the double, but he gets cleaned up as well. Multiple members of each team going down in this moment, in this instance. Part of the reason why, Eli, we've been playing to time so often is because these guys are all frying. You're going to see at least 1 40 bomb, if not 2 or 3. Mental and Precision are close with 37 and 33 to their name. I mean, and if that doesn't speak to how slay focused this oddball has been, we might have half the lobby or so reach the 40s.
We're starting to see Luminosity win their 1v1s, and we didn't see a lot of that in games 1 and 2. But it feels like these players are really stepping up to the moment, maybe feeding off of each other's energy, really starting to believe and trust in one another. That's exactly what they need to do. They're going to make this comeback happen. But Complexity with a strong swing in their favor. Huss, camo shock rifle, lurking like a shadow in the night, trying to find his next victim here. Could be Piggy if he does not watch his head, and his face does get ripped off by the shock rifle. Now it's going to slow down a little bit. Yakzn finding a kill in the kill feed is massive, and that headshot not connecting. Great for Luminosity as well. They should be able to push forward and earn ball control. Precision force to play the ball, and into a 1v1 that he also loses. Luminosity are starting to win their 1v1s, Hunter.
Luminosity break the setup. Complexity reset that oddball, but Luminosity are so efficient breaking the setup that they're able to regain control of it instantaneously and not have to cycle through another set of spawns to earn crucial ball time. They're starting to run away with it. 81 seconds on the clock, and this might just be the roaring finish that Luminosity needed to get back in the series.
Great trade here from Avucy. That means that they're able to hold the ball even longer. Looks like multiple members of Complexity are here, though. Precision with perfect timing, jumping up the camo box, has help from his team. Should be able to find 2, maybe even 3. Yes, they completely break the setup of Luminosity. So what just happened to them happens right back to Luminosity. Complexity have control. Let's see, how does Luminosity play this? This next push has to work.
In Gears of War, there's a button you can press to to push your back up against the wall and sort of do that jutting type of strafe. In Halo, you can't do that, but Precision makes it look like you can the way his movement works around the map. He wall bounces in a game where you're not supposed to be able to. Keep an eye when we have Precision on your screen, and you'll see what I'm talking about with his movement. It is extraordinary.
Extraordinary indeed. Sparty facing heavy pressure, but knows his life is more valuable than it is for him to get any kills, and I love the use of the grapple to safely grab it. Doesn't have to expose himself to any of the other lines of sight from tower. And now Complexity look to be more comfortable, but they're facing a lot of pressure, and Huss able to get the camo as well. This could be massive, but no! Huge pickup from Yakzn. Might be able to turn this around.
Luminosity previously up by about a minute or so, now staring at a 12-second advantage, and we're in the end game. Less than 2 minutes left as Luminosity escape with the oddball to the back of C. Avucy with a huge slay, preventing Precision to push through the tower and break up the control. There's only 5 seconds left. Here comes the push for Complexity, but it's too little, too late. Luminosity take their first win of the series and that first sleep on the reverse trampoline.
Wow, that's a really important win for Luminosity, because that's going to mean that they start to believe in themselves and believe that they have a chance. Games 1 and 2 were pretty rough, right? Like, they kind of got ran over, but now they can taste the possible victory here, and I think that belief could force a Game 5 here if they can win Solitude King.
It's the start for them to be able to build that confidence here on LAN against Complexity, who came firing all shots against Luminosity. Luminosity, now a King of the Hill Solitude.
Yeah, I think that when I did my analysis on this, Luminosity are quite good at this game mode. Complexity kind of struggles. So this actually does set up the situation for a very likely Game 5, in my opinion. But this is a game with very small margins, and if the members of Complexity can start to step up, maybe Precision starts to hit his form, and he can play in that ceiling that we know he can hit, they might be able to shut down the series right here.
And with the way that previous match went in the oddball, Eli, I'm really curious if we see another objective played at a time. Have a low-scoring 2-1 affair here on Solitude where everybody's playing for slays, everybody's gathering a lot of slays, and the time you do get is critical. I think that's what we're setting up for here in Game 4.
Yeah. You were mentioning Gears of War, and I was remembering, didn't Precision play Gears of War?
He was a champ.
What you're saying is he's bringing in some Gears of War movement knowledge and kind of breaking Halo Infinite a little bit to his will.
Absolutely, 100. And Mental does the same thing because he's also a multiple LAN champion in Gears of War. And so, yeah, I can't wait till we have either of those two on your screen next time. Watch the way they play around corners. Watch the way they utilize the geometry mathematically to their favor. It's something I really rarely only see them not necessarily do, because a lot of players maximize their time and space, but there's just like that next level tier. Like if someone's movement is S tier, Precision and Mental are like S+ tier.
Yeah, especially just in the way they maneuver in those micro fights. Like even when there's not a wall present to like peek shoot, they're able to manipulate the movement of their Spartan's body in a way that's very difficult to track. They're crouching and walking. It's almost like a circular, but it's like not predictable. It's like, you ever play baseball, you try to hit a knuckleball? I feel like their strafe is a knuckleball, bro. Like,
yeah, that's a great way to put it.
It's so hard to hit.
I feel like both of these teams have been getting I don't know, closer and closer. This is a 12-seeded seed, but it doesn't feel like it. Complexity doesn't feel like a number 12-seeded team when going up against Luminosity. Why could that be?
Yeah, honestly, their seeds feel like if you were to transport back to last year, you would think that the seeds are opposite, right? Like you would think that you see this lineup on Complexity, oh, this is probably the 5th seed.
Yeah.
You look at this lineup on Luminosity, you might think they're the 12th seed. So they're kind of in a weird spot where they're very different seeds, but extremely close in their skill. I don't think the Complexity has shown the full value of what they're capable of. I mean, you can even see it in the average placing right here. Sparty's average placing is Luminosity's seed. Mortalley's average placing is Sparty's seed. So,
interesting.
Obviously, Sparty didn't play at all last year, so this is all from the online tournaments, I would assume, and except for the average placing stat was probably from their wiki overall. But Avucy, his average placing is not available. This man has not really been here that long, but he's made a big impact on the scene.
Game number 4 already underway. Complexity versus Luminosity, King of the Hill Solitude.
All right, here we go. A closeout match for Complexity and an opportunity for Luminosity to battle back from the grave. But 3 do go down for Luminosity off the start. That's going to allow Complexity to take early hill time, already at the 50 percentile.
Okay, Mental does a great job to stay alive there. Right there is an example of him manipulating the geometry to avoid frag damage and make himself a different the flick shot as well. And then the drop in the middle of the fight right there, dropping off of an object, one of the best ways to throw off your opponent's aim in this game. Just makes it so much harder to hit the headshot.
Man, Mental says it is a mistake to shoot at me. We'll go down shortly after.
That's the strafe I'm talking about.
That's exactly it.
The little wiggle crouch up, like you can't move your Spartan more than that in a small space.
In a game of micrometers and microseconds, that extra level of strafe and movement excellence is going to be an advantage here for the individuals of Mental and Precision. And it's Complexity taking advantage of that in totality as they have 75% to about the 8 to 10% Luminosity. Not a strong start for them as Complexity look to close out this hill, but they go 3 down. So Luminosity is going to have a chance here. The question is, Eli, can they hold off the spawns of Complexity? If they can go through this next cycle, earn another 3-4 down, we're in a situation where it's a white knuckle 1-0 score.
Yeah, I love the way they just played that. So unfortunately, Yakzn wasn't prepared for Precision to show up in the window, but does enough damage for Piggy to quickly rotate and kill him. That's going to be a huge part of the equation to take out, but Sparty finds a double kill. That's massive. Also, by the way, quick interruption in the cast. We got a level 7 hype train. You guys are going absolutely bonkers in the Twitch chat. We don't have, like we said, a screen showing chat, so we didn't see that until now, but thank you so much. Everybody that's been supporting it means the world to us.
Level 7 hype train. Thank you guys so much for all the gifted subs, the resubs, and maybe even some new subs, some prime subs, as we're witnessing some prime gameplay here between Complexity and Luminosity. Double kill comes through for Precision. He was dead to rights. Now he's killing everyone. 3 go down, looking for the overkill on the hotel, but now he checks out a little too soon.
Wow, Yakzn is one shot though. That grenade was almost perfectly placed for the overkill to line up. But Yakzn, look at the way he's played this. He's stayed alive, and he's the reason that Complexity haven't gotten any hill time off of that triple kill, because he's still holding their attention. They're going to have to rotate. Complexity was able to get that first hill, but now that the hill is over in the yard side, they're going to have to make a push.
Yeah, such a mixy battle to make it 1-0 for Complexity that made it hard for them to get that early rotation and set up for next. Same for Luminosity, though, as Mortally turns on Sparty, takes him down with a shock and puts it right back in his hands where it should be.
That was disgusting. I would have loved to see that from Mortalley's POV. I mean, this is the nerfed shock rifle, by the way. There's not a lot of aim assist on this thing.
What nerf?
Yeah, I mean, what sense is this man on as well? He just turned and ripped his face off in an instant. Let's see if he can do some more damage with it into the next engagement here.
Pre-fire reticle, set up for Mental. Right at head level. Setting up for an easy headshot. There's the assist with the damage, and now Mental stands atop the hill. Might just be the king of it if he's able to gather a few more seconds. Complexity, despite how difficult it was to rotate to hill number 2, Eli, they've already made it a 2-0 lead. Efficient, flawless score for Complexity might just give them the series.
Luminosity need to take a breath here. Now, it is a rough start to this game, but still 3 minutes of regulation clock, only 2 minutes burned off. Means it's absolutely possible if they can get control back. This is very much a game of momentum. All Luminosity needs is a little bit of momentum in this game. I like this play. They're going to step out of the hill to clear the blue side of the map. If they can do so successfully, should have a much better time securing this hill. And they do. Look at the way Piggy played his life on the pillar, just trusting that his teammates would finish the rest of that fight. And all of a sudden, it's a 4 dead for Complexity. Luminosity with some hill time to come back into it.
Still 2:43 left in regulation, but this is a must-win hill for Luminosity. You cannot go down 3-0 with around 2 minutes or 2:15 left on the clock. There's just not enough time left in the game to complete the comeback. So the difference, Eli, between a 3-0 and a 1-score advantage for Complexity is massive. The difference is stark, and the opportunity is right before Luminosity to take it and make it that 1-score match.
So just got 3 players to one-shot, but nobody was able to finish the kills. He's got to be a little bit irritated off of that, but looks like Complexity are able to push in and finish off most of the members of Luminosity. Yes, now spawning players in yard have to make some space here. Mental pushing forward, though, to make their lives even more difficult. And now their spawns are a bit flipped. They're spawning on opposite sides of the map. Avucy and Piggy now over on the snipe and hotel side. And Huss finally gets the skill jump. He tried to do the skill jump twice, failed, and said, you know what, let me just do this the normal way. But Luminosity look good to cap this hill right now.
Huss staying alive from the window, now dropping into the hill. Mental gets the frag onto Piggy. And my God, if you filled out both of the team's bars, it would be a full 100%. 99.9 to 0.1 for Complexity. So they got a long hill to climb, but just by dwindling the clock down is a win condition you could argue for them. So Luminosity, this could cause some frustration for them, needing just one pinky toe in the hill to make it a 1-score game. But all the while, Complexity are content to dwindle that clock down, to milk this game for all it's worth, and they're continuing to do just that.
Yeah, it's clear that Complexity have decided we're probably going to lose this hill eventually, but in the meantime, let's make the very last hill they need to tie things up a little bit harder, as Mental has Shock Rifle and Ultimate High Ground. It's going to be taking a few players down along the way, but man, Luminosity may be feeling like it's almost like you wish they were further away so they'd make a more coordinated push. They're kind of rushing this, and they're failing every time, and they really need this hill quickly so they have enough time to get the next one.
The Rydoom strat is in full play here. I don't think Complexity steps back into the hill. They're going to milk that regulation clock. Eli, have you ever seen the bar filled so deep without counting for a score? There we go. Luminosity gets into the hill, needing that one pinky toe. That wasn't, I was about to say that wasn't enough. It was 2-1 with 1 minute left. Luminosity is right where they needed to be.
I mean, Complexity made this call. I thought it was a little bit risky when I first saw it, but it kind of makes sense, right? Like your odds of capping that hill are so low, you might as well just make their life difficult and hold the line. But now because of that, Luminosity had slightly better positioning for the next hill. But now Complexity are just going to hold down the yard. Okay, this actually does look extremely difficult for Luminosity, especially when Mortally goes down in the kill field.
Luminosity, despite scoring previously, rotate to the next hill and put the first 10 to 15% on the board. But with just 30 seconds left, they're going to have to scoop and get towards that back A side of the map. 2 down on each side, so it's going to come down an even 2v2. One slay comes through for Luminosity, so they have the numbers advantage to push through. Mental has the positioning to hold on to this hill, and if he can just stay alive here, this could be crucial for the defense of Complexity, but he is likely to go down. He does to Piggy. Luminosity have what looks like a chance, but they've got to hold on to the hill. They go 3 down instead, and it looks like Complexity might just take the series, if not for a miracle from Yakzn. Yakzn does force some close spawns here on the backside of A, and Luminosity's in the hill. Luminosity's in the hill, and they have a chance.
The problem is it's so hard to fight while inside this hill. Yeah, 2 go down. I think this one is over. So yeah, no one's going to be close enough, and Complexity take this series 3-1.
Complexity, their first win in their pool. Huge win for them, too, and a